Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sterling Live. My name is Caitlin Brower. I'm Sterling's Director of PR and Social Media and your host for Sterling Live. I'm really excited for today's episode. This is the first time we have 5 people on the episode. So I've always had like 1 guest, 2 guests, maybe 3 here and there, but we have 4 experts coming to you all today. We have a great topic, a really targeted topic that we're going to talk about, but really, really important information. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guests now, and they'll take a moment as well in a little bit to introduce themselves. So today we have Greta Bauer, Paula Bacchetto, Steve Smith, and Georgie Betterman. And our topic, as you can see at the bottom, is Think Global, Act Local, optimizing background checks in Australia with Sterling. So thank you all for joining me. I really look forward to today's conversation. Now I'm going to give you a moment to introduce yourself and share a little bit about, your role and everything like that with our audience. So Paula, I'm going to start with you.
Good morning, everybody. So, Paula Bacchetto, I'm one of the client success leads here at Sterling. I've been around for 8 years, so time really does fly. And I head up our teams in Australia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And I've been in the background industry for 13 plus years, so a very, very long time.
Thank you so much. And yes, not only are these 4 experts, they're 4 seasoned experts for you all. So again, you're going to learn a lot today. Steve, I will kick it over you next.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Smith. So I've been with Sterling for 9 years now. I'm currently president of International, which means that I lead our internal teams across both EMEA and APAC to serve our clients really well, from Australia all the way through to the UK. So that's me.
Thank you. Greta?
Hi, my name is Greta Bauer. I've worked for Sterling for 23 years. And over the years, I've worked in a few different countries and in various departments, such as operations and vendor management. And I'm now working as a part of our product team.
Thank you for joining us today. And then last but not least, Georgie.
Hi, everyone. I have been with National Crime Check for about 13 years. 13 must be the lucky number in this conversation. I've been the general manager for the past 2.5 years. So we are a Sterling-owned company. We specialise in the field of nationally coordinated criminal history checks and cannot wait to partner up with our sister company, doing what we do best and ultimately creating a centre of excellence.
Well, this Friday is Friday the 13th, so maybe there is kind of that luck to that scary date with that number 13 being thrown around with all of you today. So I just want to make a quick note to our audience. If you are watching live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, normally we ask for questions throughout the show. A lot of the information we have today is actually very specific in the information we have around the topic. So we're going to ask today to pause on all questions coming through. If though you do find yourself with a question at the end of today's episode, you can reach out to any of our phenomenal panelists, or you can direct message the Sterling LinkedIn channel, Facebook, or on YouTube, and we'll get your questions answered. But for now, we're going to hold on live questions on today's episode. That does not mean we are not giving you information, though, because we have a lot. So let's start with an overview of National Crime Check and Sterling. So, Steve, who is NCC and how are they a part of Sterling?
Yeah, great. Thanks. Well, Georgie just touched on it as well. But, NCC, National Crime Check, are a Sterling company, and they are absolutely critical to our market presence here in Australia. Between NCC and Sterling, what it means is we're able to effectively support clients across every sector in Australia and consumers as well. So individuals that want to get a criminal history check can do that directly via National Crime Check as well. The reason we call them NCC is because that brand name has such power in the Australian market. And so rather than just absorb that into Sterling, we've been really intentional about maintaining the NCC brand and using NCC to really kind of power and be part of our kind of holistic Australia presence as well. The team have got deep market expertise in a smaller but really focused set of products. And Georgie just leads a fantastic team of people based out in Adelaide who bring local excellence to the Sterling service offering in Australia. So that's NCC, National Crime Check.
That's perfect. And it's a true testament to, Sterling's global footprint and the focus that we put on when we are getting super local and making sure that the audiences and the organizations that we serve are getting everything that they need. It was a great overview, Steve. Thank you. And I will add for everyone here, we are like totally around the world right now on this side. So we are even like in tomorrow in some spots. It's a little bit late for me. I know it's much later for Steve and Greta. So I love that. And I think it's incredible that we can all come together and talk today.
Totally agree.
So Greta, I'm going to come to you next. What are the strengths of NCC and Sterling? And, how does each company contribute to this partnership?
Yeah, our team at NCC have such deep knowledge in Australian screening, but especially in the nationally coordinated criminal history check. They've got such a long history of performing that check specifically and have been incredibly agile to responding to changes. The NCC team just really knows that check backwards and forwards. The Sterling team brings global screening to the table. Our platform caters to candidates no matter where in the world they live or worked or have studied. And we also have a global product set that really helps make sure that we are able to cater to anything that clients are looking for in their employment screenings, such as employment verifications, financial regulatory checks, driving record checks, and so much more. So in a nutshell, the partnership between NCC and Sterling is really one of combining NCC's local experience with Sterling's global know-how. And clients who require that end-to-end background screening, they use Sterling services just as they always would. And then when we have an opportunity to leverage NCC's deep expertise in the nationally coordinated criminal history check, that makes it all the better. That's really what makes the perfect marriage between local and global.
And we'll continue to touch on that for sure throughout the episode, that kind of global, local focus. So where I want to go next is, I want to touch on global growth, but obviously with a little bit of a focus within Australia as well and talk about that growth. So Steve, can you tell us how Australia fits within the international strategy at Sterling? And then just a couple of follow-up questions I have for you. What has been a focus for organizations that are looking to grow globally? And then also with and outside of Australia as well.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the international strategy at Sterling, Australia has always been so important. We go back over a number of years, we can trace the growth of that market for us, and we can in parallel trace kind of our expertise developing and evolving. People like Paula coming on board and her building her team, really bringing expertise to clients in that market locally. And it's the reason why we selected NCC to become part of Sterling a few years back, right? To add that real local piece to our global offering, just like Greta was saying. I think in the last 12 to 18 months, we've seen a real increase in local business in the market, as well as a growing importance of screening in Australia for both regional, APAC regional and global customers with Sterling as well. So Australia is really starting to kind of take even more of a spotlight, I think, for the international strategy, because it's becoming more significant as a market to customers, not just in the country, but more broadly as well. So as a result of that, we've sort of doubled down really over the last 12, 18 months. And we've said it a couple of times, this center of excellence. That's really one of the things we're seeing come through from clients that we speak to in Australia is Australia for Australia is important. And so that sense of local is probably more important in Australia than some other markets that we might be in as well. And so some of the way that we handle some of the core products, like the criminal history checks we've talked a bit about already, and we'll talk more about right to work checks, e-references, that sort of stuff. But we're also making the country a really high priority for innovation. And that's in line with how the market in Australia is evolving right now. So we recently launched our Sterling platform in Australia, and we made sure that data was stored and handled in Australia for that, and the client support was in country. We've also launched a digital identity product globally, And we're seeing great traction for that specifically in Australia as well. So, and there's like loads more excitement coming through around capabilities like instant employment verifications and the opportunities that are created by the continued digitalization of data sources that we're seeing specifically in Australia as well, which create a whole heap of exciting opportunities to transform how quickly and easily people move into jobs. So like it's like the legislative focus in Australia, creating some of these opportunities, as well as the higher focus on that market from clients like multinationals within Australia and outside as well. It's really exciting. So I'm glad we've made the decisions we have. I'm even more glad we have the people that we have in Australia, because it means that we're really able to kind of just make the most of these opportunities right now.
Absolutely. We're clearly seeing a lot of changes, trends, things that organizations need. And you had just listed off a couple of things that Sterling has been able to develop and address these changes, address these trends. So it's really, really great to hear. So Paula and Georgie, I'm going to come over to you to hyper-focus a little bit in Australia here. So Paula, how have you seen the Australian market evolve around background screening in the past couple of years?
So I think to add to what Steve already said in a lot of the points there, it's really that sense of local. So we've seen a big focus on the Australian storage, processing. So we're hearing that from a lot of Australian clients, with that being the focus and the centre of a lot of the questions we're getting asked. The biggest also key drive is the automation built into background screening programs, which really just translates to faster turnaround time. So really optimizing how quick we can get things done, but also the ease of the onboarding experience for candidates. So that has been very key within the market, which has really allowed for NCC to shine in that tech aspect, being the subject matter experts and the centre of excellence we're speaking of.
Yeah, I totally agree, Paula. I think also a huge amount of growth. The pandemic accelerated demand and massive growth in the gig industry in particular, which in turn really impacted the involvement of screenings, not only in Australia but worldwide. I think also there's been a real focus on most industries to ensure that that they are offering a really secure and compliant, safe workplace for not only their employees but the clients who utilise their services and the broader community. I mean, ultimately ensuring a compliant organisation and product is crucial for business success. So I think that's really had a huge part to play in the market evolvement in background screening.
No, that's great for sure. So I'm going to stay with the both of you. Let's talk more specifically about the National Coordinated Criminal History Check. How do clients and individuals use these checks today versus in the past? So Paula, I'll start with you here, and then Georgie, you can come in.
Yeah, certainly. So we have a range, a very big range of industries that use national coordinated criminal history checks, and really for all different reasons. So it comes down to the selecting of the correct individual and ensuring compliance and safety overall. We've seen a big move in the last few years from the traditional models like your financial organizations into your gig and individuals getting their own criminal history checks done. So really the fundamental is around trust, the safety, and ensuring that for both elements, from the client and the applicants, that it's a seamless experience throughout the whole entire process.
Yeah. Look, I think just adding to that, historically obtaining a criminal history check was such a manual, time-consuming process, and what we saw is it created a bottleneck of disengagement issues within workplaces and organisations. Everyone was begging for a technical solution that was online, seamless, cost efficient, and so that's exactly what we did, what we offer. Like Paula, like everyone's sort of reiterating, it's a frictionless 100% online solution utilising state-of-the-art technology. It is supported by a fully onshore team of industry experts, for everybody. So, we offer a highly automated and scalable solution in a trusted ecosystem of source and partner integration. So I think that's really important to note.
So, Georgie, it seems like we do have a wide range of clients and individuals that are using this service. And I know you're mentioning like the seamless experience and things like that. But how also has, NCC designed and evolved the solution to meet the needs of the market, and then consumers as well?
We have the ability to. We listen to what people want. We listen to what clients want. We interact with them to find ultimately the penultimate journey for everybody. It's so important to offer a solution that moves with the times and the needs of all industries. So I think by focusing on technical solutions that are not only compliant and easy for the business, but also the consumer, remembering the consumer in the journey has to have a really pleasing experience too. So by focusing on absolutely brilliant technology, we've been able to harness that and move forward, creating the product that we do have.
So I understand that there's a change coming. What are some of the new requirements under the updated agreement? So, Georgie, I'll stay with you, but then Greta, I'd like your insights on this as well.
Yes, there are a few changes coming that all accredited agencies have to adapt to. Most obviously, it's the reduced amount of identity documents for an applicant to upload. It used to be 4, now it's 3. There's a new parent-guardian consent process. There is now linkage required between the parent and the guardian of an under 18-year-old. There's a new dispute process. But to be honest, it's more technical workarounds in the background. So our clients really aren't impacted and the process still remains seamless.
And the same is true on the wider Sterling side. I think Georgie's covered it.
Oh, that's great. I think people like to hear that. Like that, the change is coming, but not much is changing.
I can say, I will just add to that, that we have launched with the changes. So our clients, new, old, will be experiencing now the new journey, which is actually super exciting.
Yeah. And hey, listen, what a team. Look at this crew on the episode right here. What a team to guide your organization through it, which we will. So Greta, Steve had mentioned earlier the idea of the Center of Excellence for Australia, by bringing these solutions across Sterling and NCC. If clients are listening right now, how can they access this? And what are some of the main benefits?
Sure. When Sterling customers order the nationally coordinated criminal history check on the Sterling platform, they're leveraging the Center of Excellence straight away. So it's that combination of NCC, where our Sterling where our Center of Excellence is, and the wider org that is just magic to employers in Australia who need to be able to perform the nationally coordinated criminal history checks with their specific requirements, and of course, a wider screening program. So the Center of Excellence also helps support clients and candidates directly with their needs related to nationally coordinated criminal history checks through phone and through email whenever people need to talk to them directly. And that's such a great thing because it not only makes sure that everybody's compliant with any new guidelines that we've got, but it means that people get to speak to the experts directly. And so that means that they get timely responses from individuals who are highly educated on these checks.
All right. Well, we have gone over some great information so far on the episode, really just kind of mapping out, our expertise on a global scale, our partnership, but then really honing in to certain local markets like Australia. That's all the questions that I have for the four of you. But I would like to just end with some final thoughts, anything that you'd like to leave our audience with for today. So, Steve, I'm going to start with you on final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I often talk about with the teams at Sterling and with clients as well is like, we are here to make complicated things simple, right? And so most of the checks that we provide in their own way are pretty complex, especially when you start trying to apply them to a global program and things like that. I love just like listening to the team today and actually going back a few months, and I heard about the changes and I had the sense of, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And you come to the team and they're like, oh, we'll just do this. And already we've got the solution. It's already been evolving and evolving to the level that we needed it to. And that's just exciting for me. That makes me super proud. And I'm really proud being on a call like this where we can just kind of showcase some of that. But yeah, I think that's just what we're here for, is complicated things made simple. So if anyone in the audience has been thinking, oh, a bit nervous about how complicated this might be, I don't know how to think about this, then we've got the team here that can help make that simple for you. So hopefully today's been like a bit of a taster of that, and any follow-up we'd be happy to help with as well. And there's plenty more things coming in Australia.
Yeah.
That's the other really exciting thing.
Absolutely. Have the, like Steve said, have the conversation. So Georgie, I'll come over to you here for some final thoughts.
I do love the complicated things made simple. Steve actually knows my motto is the KISS motto, which is quite famous in Australia. You know, keeping it simple. But I won't. You know, we love clever simple. It's not always easy, but we bring it to you guys, and it is amazing. And ultimately, my final thoughts is I'm looking forward to an epic collaboration with the best of the best.
I love that. Greta, final thoughts from you.
So similar to what Steve and Georgie are saying. Honestly, it's been such a fun collaboration so far between the local teams in Australia and the global product teams coming together. So many different time zones, and everybody's been so fantastic to work with all across the board. That's really helped make the solution so great.
And Paula, finally, final thoughts from you.
I think final thoughts is I love the changes coming, but as little as possible to our clients. So that has been our absolute focus in really delivering our Centre of Excellence. So super excited for the seamless process and collaboration to serve our clients better.
What an absolute power of a squad we had on today's episode. And look, these are the faces that you can work with to get it done, like Georgie had said, but simple. We're going to get it done in a simple way. So I'd like to thank everyone who had joined us today live, or if you're watching us on demand. We always appreciate your support. Again, if you did have questions throughout the episode and you're still finding yourself with those same questions, if you'd like to reach out to any of our guests, please feel free. You can also send us a direct message on the Sterling LinkedIn, Facebook, or comment on one of our YouTube videos, and we will get back to you, of course. So with that being said, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Live. And Steve, Paula, Greta, Georgie, thank you. You guys were rock star guests, and I truly appreciate you coming on this episode.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, everyone.